Yo, 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 what's going on? We are back at the Make It Make Sense podcast. I'm your host, Coach Frank. And y'all know the motto be grinding or be nothing. All right, so we are a couple weeks away from the NFL season. We are a couple, no, what's today? Friday? Oh, we already in college football season. Look, I'm from Florida, and I don't know about other folks, but I know in Florida we really, really get down with football. I don't know if people can tell who I'm a fan of, but very little known secret, I am slightly fond of the San Francisco 49ers. Um, and it's wild, because people ask, like, Frank, you're from Florida. How are you a 49er fan? And like, simple. When I was a kid, I played Pop Warner football. And that's wild in itself, right? Because my parents and I had never talked about playing football. All I know is I was home one day, sitting in the chair watching cartoons after school or whatever. And my mom comes home and she tosses me this plastic bag with this stuff in it. I was like, yo, what's that? She's like, oh, this is your football uniform. You got football practice in 30 minutes. And I was like, who play football? And she's like, you play football. And I was like, since when? And she's like, you got your first practice today. I was like, we never even talked about this, but here we are, So I didn't even know how pads went. So I took my pants, well, put on my pads in the pants, whatever, and got my uniform. My mom takes me to the practice site. And what's wild is, right, I see everybody from class there. And what was really, really telling, and I'll say, um, what was really telling, and I didn't really get it until years later, was everybody on my block or everybody that I interacted with, my next door neighbor, who's supposed to be like one of my best friends, my next door neighbor was on the football team. All the guys I knew in Oviedo, there's a lot of baseball played, so we played baseball. Like all the guys I knew from baseball were on the team. All the guys I see in school every single day, these guys are already on the team and they've already been on the team. And ain't nobody ever say anything to me. And it's just, and then years later, I reflect back on that, just a quick little segue, to understanding that coming from a small city, I realized that the friends that I thought I had in that small city were only my friends because we were in a small city. And they were only my friends as long as I stayed in that small city. Now that I've moved on and I moved to Arizona, and I'm a little different than how I was growing up, my perspective on things rather, like, yeah, those same people are not my friends, but it was really, I should have picked it up then. And when I was a kid, like, they weren't my friends then either. They were just the people that I grew up with. And that's going to help in a little bit. I'm going to get back on that here in a second, but anyway, so go to the first practice, right? See all the guys on the team, and the coach looks at me in my uniform, and he has this kid come over, Mitch Rogers. I remember him because his mom, Miss Rogers, was my teacher, and he came over, and the coach told him, like, because to help me out, because I had put my pads in my pants wrong. So I put my knee pads where the thigh pads should go and thigh pads where the knee pads should go, because I never played football, let alone put this stuff in pants. So I don't know how this shit go. So we get that done. We have practice and whatnot. Years later, still play Pop Warner, become one of the guys on the team or whatnot. Um, but always stayed. But that's what got me into being a 49er fan. So the first year I was number 16. Number 16 in the league then was Joe Montana. And I was like, all right, so who is Joe? Because I hadn't really watched a lot of football. So I was like, all right, 16, Joe Montana, 49ers. Cool. That's where I'm at. Um, and then the next year, it was a coin flip. I played wide receiver and I was number 80. Now I was still sort of on the fence as far as like a team to like. So I was like, but I really like Steve Largent as a wide receiver, but he retired. So there was only Jerry Rice left. So Jerry Rice already with the 49ers, Joe Montana's the 49ers. I was like, bam, here I am, and so years later, I'm still a 49er fan. And you know what's wild is I've never seen the stadium where the 49ers play. Well, I had never seen it until earlier this year. Um, we went to San Francisco, or went in the surrounding area, Santa Clara for the stadium, things like that, and up to the redwoods and volcanic national forests and things, and Humboldt County and all those things. But the shining light for me, of course, is obviously going to see the field and see the stadium. Um, I couldn't see a lot because they were doing construction on it. But even still, it's like, as a fan, for me, really growing up in a small city is like, and I tell people all the time that a lot of these teams, they existed um, like only on TV. Like the 49ers were my team, and I understood it was San Francisco, California. I mean, I get it. But as far as like going there, like, nah, it was never a thing. I didn't think I'd ever actually see the field. Um, and the same thing when I went to Utah. Like Utah was like, okay, they're the Utah Jazz and stuff like that, but it's only on TV. But when I went to Utah, I was like, well, okay, and it just opened up a whole different world for me. But but yeah, so we got football season coming up. My girl and I love football. She is very competitive. I love it, and I love my girl for that. She's a big basketball fan. Shout out the Phoenix Mercury. Shout out Alyssa Thomas. If she is not MVP this year, then I don't know what's going on. Somebody got their views all wrong. If she ain't, what is she? 17 triple doubles so far, 7 triple doubles this season. I think she had 3 back-to-back triple doubles. Like, yo, Alyssa Thomas is legit. 2-5 Phoenix Mercury. Say less. Let's see. But yeah, so we got the Merc coming up, Mighty Mercury. This weekend is college football. Normally, we would be at the house week one, probably week one next weekend for NFL, and I get the big party wings from Costco, and we just have, and I put them on the grill, either smoke them or grill them wings, and we go to town. But my girl and I, we both just love sports, like all sports, but like NBA, well, Mercury anyway, or WNBA, and football. I'm obviously here, but she is a Cardinal fan, so you know it's it's whatever. It's whatever. Everybody make mistakes, so we won't say who made the mistake, but I didn't. Um, so let's see what else is going on. I'm getting ready to go home in a couple weeks. See the family. That'd be cool. I think I was home earlier this year. Though. I was home in May. Yeah, I was home in May, but I don't think my father's a truck driver, and I don't think he wasn't home, so I hadn't seen him. So I'll get to see him again. I don't think I've seen him this year. So I'll get to see my pops, see the family, see the folks. So that'd be cool. Um, but let's get into today's show topic, which is creating your environment, right? Um, what people don't fully understand when they're on their fitness journey is that if you are at a point where you're needing improvement of something, like if you've been overweight for years, or you've been underweight for years, or you've just been unhealthy for years, you know, a bad trainer will tell you all you need to do is get up and go. But that's just simply not the case. Like, if you know me, you know how much I understand how much the mental health plays into those situations. Like, when you're overweight, you're clearly going through some physical repercussions of that. May that be joint pain, um, respiratory issues, as far as breathing heavy when you're doing like small activities, or or if you have to go buy new clothes and you have to buy bigger clothes, like those are things that are happening as you're overweight. Also, I mean, buying the amount of food you need to not only be overweight, but to continue gaining weight. Now, someone will tell you, hey, just put the food down, just get in the gym. And it's like, first, you have to understand, all right, why do you think it's okay to be this way? And I'll ask clients that a lot. I'll ask them, before we embark on their fitness journey, I ask them, why do you think it's okay for you to be overweight? And, of course, it's always, I don't think it's okay. That's why I'm here. It's like, no, no, no. You understand now that you need to change. Yes, I get that. But there's a there's a point where you were becoming overweight and you were okay with that, or you allowed it to happen, and not saying you allowed it to whereas you said, "Hey, I want to be overweight," but no, you kept with the habits that would produce those results. You weren't active for whatever reason. You continued to buy additional food, because people will tell you how expensive it is to be on a diet and eat healthy food, but don't understand how expensive it is to buy the amount of food you need to be overweight and gain weight. Like, you save a considerable amount of money if you stop eating to continue to be overweight. But mentally, you have to be able to say, okay, I'm good. I'm done. That's enough. But so when I'm training people, I never like the person that says, I just want to lose weight. Because what does that mean? Lose weight to do what? I just want to lose weight. Okay, you lose weight and then what? I want to lose 20 pounds. For what? That's not a real goal. That's just things that marketing and advertising can attach itself to. Like when you see all these lose weight by taking this pill, lose weight, excuse me, by taking this shot, lose weight, but lose weight for what? You know? And then when you get down to the nitty gritty with someone and you say, why do you want to? Well, I want to wear this dress. Okay, so the dress you're showing me, or the outfit, you have round shoulders. Will just losing weight give you the round shoulders and give you the back that you want as far as being able to stand up straight with posture? If you're looking for, a flatter stomach, like, will just losing weight give you any of that? Losing weight doesn't do anything but lose weight, and that's a math problem, really. And I'd say this all the time. Losing weight just means that you're burning more calories than you're taking in. That's all it means. Gaining weight means taking in more calories than you burn. Now, if that's a tree, there are many branches that allows those things to happen, but at the root of it, of the root of this tree, it's just math. If you want to lose weight, burn more calories than you take in. Now, with that being a very simple goal, and I believe, and personally, in the what 2 decades that I've been doing this, that that is why people fall off of their fitness journey, because the goal isn't real. I want to lose weight. Like, at what point is the weight you wanted to lose, or at what point is it enough? Because what happens is, when people start these fitness programs, I just want to lose weight, they'll lose 5 to 10 pounds and be happy with that because their goal was to lose weight, lost 5 pounds, boom, goal accomplished. And then the momentum sort of like slows down, and the consistency with the disciplined diet, things like that, slow down because your only goal was to lose weight. You've done that, but that's not where the goal should be. Now, the goal should be, or I push my clients into an actual goal that I call their honest motivation. Say they want to lose weight. I want to lose weight so I can do this. I want to lose weight so I can, because I want to put on some muscle. Um, I want to lose weight because I want to be healthier in this. I had a guy client once say he wanted to lose weight so he could play football with his son. Now, right, so we got to lose weight, but within that, we also got to make sure that we increase your stamina, we increase your endurance, we increase your muscle strength, so you can go out there and tackle this physical activity of playing football with your son. But there always has to be something behind the lose weight, like what is going to push you, because losing weight is like at the start of the road. That's the easy part. Like, what's going to keep the momentum going? What's going to keep the discipline? What's going to keep you driving? Or, for lack of better phrases, what's going to cause you to keep grinding? Right. So it always has to be an honest motivation. Sometimes you want to lose weight. Well, I'll talk, and I'm giving examples, of course, of people I've dealt with. I've trained over thousands of people. So I have a very large sample size in regards to this. And sometimes people want to lose weight for their children to show their kids that, that they can do certain things. But whatever it is, never set that low bar, that low goal of, I just want to lose weight. Put purpose to the reason why you're doing things. And that is actually going to make you think about what you're doing, because and then your physical health becomes more intertwined with your mental health, and that's the only way you're going to grow. Because I tell everybody, your body does nothing that your mind does not want to do. Now, when you're on your fitness journey, there will be conflict. Those things will, your body and your mind, they're going to fight. They are going to fight, because your body is going to start not necessarily resisting growth and change. It's your body is going to try to hold on to what feels good to it. And your mind is going to, as long as you have an honest motivation, your mind is going to develop habits to where you're like, no, get your ass up, let's go. But what happens when, on the flip side, when people are underweight or overweight and they have these habits, that's because their mind and their body have gotten together to say, hey man, we ain't gonna do shit. That's just not, we go buy the extra food, we go binge watch Netflix, Hulu, whatever, and we're just gonna buy bigger clothes, and we're gonna find things to latch on to that make the condition be okay. And that is what boils down to your environment. Now, people say you'll have to leave some people behind. This is what I've learned. Your environment is here. That is your environment. Your goal, your honest motivation is here. It is yours. It belongs to you. Other people will adjust to you if you make your environment that real, right? So let's see. I got into fitness and working out because I'd never been a weight guy. I was always, I call it runner's lean. When I graduated high school, I was like about 6'1", 6'2", and I was only 140 pounds. So it's like I've never been a big guy. It's never been lifting weights. Any of that was never my thing. To the point where I was getting ready. I was going to go to college, and so my senior year, I took a weightlifting class because it's like I didn't want to go into college still being runner's lean or whatever. And when I was taking the class, we had an intern, this guy from UCF, and I'm doing some workout one day, and he's like, "Yeah, man, you're an ectomorph." I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Man, you're never gonna be able to put on muscle." I'm like, well, then why the hell am I in this class then? You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't know then what I know now, obviously, but it's like, well, if you know more than me, you're the teacher, you're telling me this isn't going to work. Like, why am I here? So I got out of the class and did something else for the rest of my senior year. Um, but I left it alone. When I got to college, um, I got into, me and one of my boys, Daryl, we used to work out. Everybody lived in an apartment in college, so different apartment locations, working out in their gyms. I'm sure we had a gym on campus at FAMU, but I don't know if I ever worked out on campus. I know I just pretty much worked out at like apartment complex gyms and stuff, but nothing serious. It would just go, lat pull down, chest press machine, bicep curls, whatever, and call it a day. But fast forward, I got into fitness, because I was rear-ended by a drunk driver. And when I got rear-ended, I was left with bulging disc in my lower back. And so around then, I was a little older. I was in my 20s, mid 20s or so. And I was around 175, maybe 178. I remember specifically, may have been 180. Who knows? We'll say 180 because I felt like I was a big guy. But after the accident, I lost a lot. I was getting back spasms all the time. So I was barely eating. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything because at the time, that the accident happened, I thought I was going to play basketball overseas. I was going to tryouts and stuff like that, thinking that was going to be my future. But after the accident, the doctors were like, "Yeah, you're never going to play basketball like that again." you're gonna have back problems for the rest of your life. So I'm like, all right, so well that sucks. So yeah, I went into a crazy ass depression. I ain't even gonna lie. Um, I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. And back then, I'll just say they were cheaper. They were $2.50 a pack. So, it was $7.50 a day on cigarettes. I was finishing 2 packs definitely within the course of a day. And I was definitely, a good couple sticks in of the third pack by the end of the day, every single day. I was drinking, like the V8 Sunsplash drinks. I would like either drink most of it or pour some of it out and then pour vodka for the rest. And it was just a bad time. But you know what that situation did was help me understand more that as I got into fitness training and began training other people, that there is a mental state and a mind state that people are in that either prevents them or propels them to whatever their goal is, pushing towards their goal or keeping them from their goal. It's going to be what you're thinking. um, Long story short, I went into one of my checkups with the doctor on my back, and he was like, "Yo, you're getting worse. You need to start working out. If you don't start working out, you're going to need back surgery." So me, who damn near cries if I get a paper cut, was like, "Well, I'm not getting surgery. They're not cutting me open. I am just going to start working out." So that's how I got into fitness. And when I hit it, you know, I hit the ground running. Like I was just, this is what I do. I work out. I'd met my friend Chris. Well, not met, I'd ran into my boy Chris in the gym, who I knew from church when we were kids. He was already like there. You know what I mean? He was definitely my first inspiration as far as what I wanted to do, because here was someone that I actually knew, who didn't, he was skinny like me when we were growing up. And now he is like huge chest, abs, everything, So like I'd met him, so I'm working out in the gym. Now I'm still in the same city that I grew up in. I was still in Oviedo, you know. I was still seeing the same people, same family, same environment, externally, but my environment changed in here. Chris, someone who I hadn't really spoken to in years, was someone that I was seeing every single day, 7 days a week. We were at the gym. Um, the conversation, I knew everybody at the gym at a certain time, because when you go to the gym at the same time, same people are there. My environment changed in here, so now I'm having conversations with different type people, and I'm opening up to different people. I moved to Arizona. um, I still just worked out. I hadn't gotten into competing yet. I was just working out. But then once I got into competing, I told everybody that I knew, like, hey, this is what I got going on. This is my process. This is what I have to do. These are what my goals are. And again, same people in Arizona that I used to just go play basketball with, um, go to happy hours with, go to clubs, whatever, go to the bar with. Those same people externally were still in my corner, were still my friends, but my environment changed here. I was at the gym more. I was watching what I eat, and the people that recognized, whoa, the people that recognized what I was doing and how focused I was on my goal, because it was my honest motivation. Like when I got into competing, number one, I'm a very competitive person. So I wanted to win, you know. And the division I got in, men's physique, was still new. So I'll be honest, I didn't even know what I wanted to win. I just know I wanted to be better than the other dudes that were standing next to me on the stage when it came time to do my show. Um, and then once I found out, you could go pro and you could be a pro athlete, I was like, yeah. So, that was definitely my honest motivation. Like, I didn't want to compete just to compete. I wanted to compete to become a professional. And I'll talk about how that was sort of a downfall at some other time, but that was my goal. So, in the 3 years as an amateur while I'm competing, I still know the same people. My boy Daryl from college, when I moved to Arizona, he's still in Florida, and he would just call me and he would ask the same question: "You in there? You on your way from there, or you on your way there?" And it was the gym. It was like, am I in the gym? Am I on my way to the gym, or am I leaving? And if I said I was on my way to the gym, he would say, all right, then just call me back, when you finish, because you need to focus. And I was like, yeah, but you can tell. He's like, nah, nah, nah. He's like, I want to see you get that card, so you got to focus. I'll talk to you when you're done. My other homeboy, Cameo, same thing. And these guys didn't even know each other, but they were still. But he would ask the same thing. You in there? You're on your way, or you're leaving? And if I wasn't leaving, then neither one of these guys would talk to me. And we were just talking about shit, not nothing major, but they wouldn't do anything at all to derail me from what they understood, because I created my environment. So, and that didn't mean my friends had to change. I still got my same friends. Cameo, I've known since preschool. He'd seen me through all phases of life, and he knew nothing at all about bodybuilding. I told him, this is what I'm trying to do. All right, then that's what you're doing. All right, then I got your back. And that's a friend. That's a real friend. Daryl, real friend. Like, I knew him from college. If you go to college, especially in Tallahassee, we went to FAMU, and so you got FAM, and you got Florida State, and you got, at the time, TCC, Tallahassee Community College. Like, it was just a wild time for college. Definitely nothing really like as strict fitness that I was doing now, but still, nah, bro, that's what you doing. All right, that's what you got to do. Then you got to focus. I, my motivation and my discipline was so real that there was a grocery store, Sunflower, I think at the time. I think it's a Sprouts now, but it was a Sunflower, and they used to have these dope ass oatmeal raisin cookies, the best I've ever had. Mad big and like super soft. My favorite kind of cookie, favorite oatmeal raisin cookie. But I would see the same, and it was right next to the LA Fitness where I worked. And I would see the same cashier every day. I would go in and go to work, get me a cookie, go to work, right? And then one day we were talking. I was like, yeah, I'm getting into bodybuilding now. I got a competition coming up in a couple months. I'm not going to be able to eat cookies like this anymore because I'll be on a diet. And so I remember when I started my prep, I went in one day and she was doing something else. And, I was new to competition and new to like eating on a diet. So I tried to grab a cookie. I went to get a cookie and I went to the register to like one of the little lanes to pay for it. And I promise you, don't sell him a cookie. And I'm looking around. Don't sell him a cookie. It was the same cashier or whatever coming up telling one of her colleagues, no, 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 he's got a competition. He's doing bodybuilding. He can't have cookies anymore. Frank, you know better. Put the cookie back, and the lady, oh no, I can't do that. I can't say it. Come on, what are you doing? I had created my environment. You know, I told the people that instead of like latching on to my comfort and comfort foods and things like that that made me happy, I moved my environment to the areas where I knew I would need help. Right. So this cashier knows what Frank's doing. This cashier is not going to let Frank get off his goal because my environment, I'd created my environment. I had these friends out here in Arizona, Veronica and her kids and her family. I've known shit, 25 years, over 20 years, something like that. And I remember once I went to their house after Halloween, and I was training for a competition. And so I'd come over there a few times and brought my food and ate only my food. Now, these are friends that I used to just hang out with, watch football, drink with, and but now that I was competing, they stayed my friends, go over there every day and like, hey, you got your food with you? Well, you can't eat anything over here. But I remember their son Hashim, who's a big man now, proud of him. He was maybe between 6 and 8. And he had his bag of candy from trick or treating. He has bag, and I was like, it's like, yo, Sheem, hey man, let me see your bag. Let me get some of that candy. He grabbed his bag. No, you got a competition coming up, and kept walking. I was like, yo, but same friends, right? That knew my goal, knew what I was trying to do, did not need to leave me or not be in my life anymore. They were able to stay my friends, but they were also able to make sure that, nah, Frank, you're doing something. we're paying attention to you, so make sure you take care of that. Man, and then it would really suck if I didn't say this. There was this restaurant, US Egg. It was not. It was very close to the LA Fitness also, and on my diet was, I think it was a cup and a half or 2 cups of egg whites, half a cup or a cup of oatmeal, and I think a quarter cup of blueberries. For a while, that was my meal one. And this place I used to go to, USA, I ordered it a couple times, and they asked, like, why do you keep eating the same thing? Because before I used to eat this big skillet thing they had, like chicken and hash browns and eggs and grits and all this stuff on it. Then they asked me why did I switch up to my menu. Why was I eating something different? And I was like, because I'm trying to compete in bodybuilding. I got a competition coming up. This is what's on my diet. So after that, they wouldn't even serve me the old stuff I used to serve anymore. I would call in, and they could recognize my voice. Is this Frank? I was like, yeah. All right, we'll have it ready for you at your booth, because I was sat at the same table. And they started calling it the Frank special, like 2 cups of egg whites, cup of or whatever, the oatmeal and the blueberries, and that was all they would serve me. But again, I set my environment. You don't have to lose the people or get rid of the people that are close to you. Like, your circle doesn't have to get smaller just because your path changes or you have a different goal. If they're truly the people that should be in your circle, and you let them know what your goal is, then they're going to maintain. They're still going to be there. Like, I always say this, like, I've never lost one friend in life, ever. I've never lost one friend. I've probably don't communicate with people that I was once associated with on a regular basis, but that doesn't make them my friends, because you don't lose friends, and that's just the way it is. But it's your environment, right? So once you understand that you create your environment based off what your goals are, based off what your motivation is, then you realize that your environment goes every single place you go. Like, no matter where I was at the time, in the years that I was competing, my friends, they wouldn't tempt me with certain things, with going out to eat or going to do these things. They would always ask, hey, so where are you at on prep? Can you do this? No, yeah, I can go do that. All right, so we want to do this. We want you to come hang out and do this. But if you're stable in your environment, then the people around you they will become your environment as well. And it doesn't have to be new people. It can be the same people. They just want you to make sure that you stay focused on your goal, right? So one of the hardest things that people have within their environment are their loved ones. When I was competing, like, my parents didn't know anything at all about bodybuilding, whatever I was doing. All they knew is that I was unhappy when I didn't win, and they were happy when I did well. And that's all they cared about. And and again, novice, they knew less than I knew, and I didn't know anything at all. And my parents they just had my back. I'll do what you want to do. My siblings, hey man, keep going. I like what you're doing. Keep it up. Again, they knew nothing at all about it either. But sometimes people's environment and their family don't work with them that way. And it's very unfortunate. I've seen cases of abuse where the husband will verbally and emotionally abuse the wife. And it's really an insecurity on them, because they don't want their wife to change and get better and feel better about themselves and gain an independence and stuff like that. So, it's the environment that person that female is in, that wanted to change. Now she has a husband or whatever that doesn't want to see any of that. And so the environment is different. That's why I was saying it's not just so simple to just get up and, like, just start working out. Like, mentally, you have to make sure you are in a place that this is going to happen. You have to make sure that the people in your circle, hey, this is my goal. This is what I got coming up. I need you guys to support me. If folks aren't with you on that change and you trying to better yourself, then clearly you don't need those people around. They're not the folks that you need in your environment. You have to protect your environment and the people that want you to progress. anyone that wants you to be stagnant and stay the same, they should not be in your environment. Does it make it easy to remove those people from your environment? No. You just have to have an understanding of where to put those people along your journey. They may have to be to the side. You may have to only interact with these be able to interact with these people maybe once a month, once every couple months, major holidays, something like that. But you have to come to a mental understanding of, okay, I want to do this. I need to do this. The people around you need to know that you want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want a job promotion, you want to stop drinking, you want to stop smoking, whatever it is that your goal is that you want to stop doing, the people around you, your environment has to be in tune with that. Your environment has to change according to your goal if you're going to complete it. I was listening to something the other day and I heard someone say, success doesn't come because somebody else believes in you. Success comes because you believe in you, right? Like I tell people all the time, or excuse me, when folks ask, how did you become a pro? Like, like what was it like, did you eat this and that? And I was like, it's very simple, I've said this before because I told myself I would. Like, I'm a competitive person. They said you could become a pro. That was my goal. I told myself I would do it. And it was like, nah, it had to be harder than that. Like, you made the judges and this and that. I was like, no, no, no. I just told myself I would, which means I told myself I would have to wake up and do the cardio and wake up and eat, my breakfast and wake up and do my workouts. And if it calls, do another workout and do some more cardio. But because I told myself I would win, I had to tell myself I would do those things too. So when you tell yourself you have a goal, like I want to lose weight to be able to wear this outfit or whatever, then when you make that goal, the process is just what's done. Like I remember somebody asked me once, on the final year, I was an amateur and I got my pro card. I was on for my prep, I was doing like 3 hours of cardio a day. And the guy asked, man, you don't think that was too much? I got my pro card. How clearly it wasn't too much. It had to be the right amount, right? So, you know, once you set your goal, then the process is just what it is. Like, I'm going to do this to be able to do this. The steps there are just going to have, you just have to take them. You have to do it. Like, when the easiest people for me to train are the ones that can easily understand that you just have to do it. I mean, it's going to be tough some days. There's going to be moments when you don't want to, and I get that, but you just have to do it. I don't know. Oh man, I'm so tired. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. That usually happens when you work out. Oh, I'm so sore. Like, yeah. Again, that usually happens when you work out. So I don't know what to tell you in regards to that, right? You just have to do what you have to do. You have to create your environment. Your environment is so important. It's your mental environment. It's so important towards progression of anything that you want to do. Your body will not involve itself in actions that your mind is going to hold it back from. If your mind doesn't put you into a state of being disciplined enough to achieve your ultimate goal, not lose weight, but lose weight to do this, not stop drinking, but stop drinking so you can do that, whatever the case may be, if your body and mind don't line up, then it's just not going to work. So, to wrap it up, in regards to this, understand first that even though you see some people that, man, they just started working out and this and that, know that there was something that went on in here first. There was a switch that flipped mentally, because your body isn't just going to get up. Your mind has to say, all right, it's Monday, got to go to work. After work, got to get the kids, take the kids home, whatever, go home, feed the kids, and I got to go to the gym. Or I got to do my workout at home, or I got to walk around the block. Like I have to do this. And when the mind flips and so tells you that you have to do these things, then your body is just gonna, no matter how reluctant, your body is just gonna do them. Now, there's gonna be a fight at some point, but if your mind is strong, if you are focused mentally on your goal, always, always, always be focused mentally on your goal. Your body is gonna have to do it. Because, all right, case in point, and I'll end with this. Um, Somebody was asking me once, um, what's better, to lift heavier weight for short reps, or lighter weight for a larger amount of reps. And I asked the person, all right, what's heavy? And they're like, well, like I don't know, like 225 or something like that. And I was like, you think your body knows that that's 225 pounds? Your body got eyes. Your body read that. Does your body have ears? Like someone, no. You saw that, you recognized it's 225 pounds. What your body did was recognize that there was a force that needed to be moved. And so your body worked with your mind to move that force. It's always going to start here. Heavy is relative to the individual lifting the weight. That has nothing to do with it. Everything has to do with your mind focused and connected with those muscle fibers and with those muscles to to move the force, to do the exercise. So it's always going to be your mind. You'll work out better if mentally you want to work out. You'll stay focused on your diet better if mentally you want to be focused on your diet. You'll stay in tune with your relationships at school, at work, at home, whatever, if mentally you're in tune with those things as well. So, wrapping it up, your environment is your mental state. You create your environment by what your mind wants. Your mind and body will coincide, and they will work together as long as your goal is something that you really want to accomplish. Stay focused on your goal. All right. Let's go ahead and get out of here. It's Coach Frank, Make It Make Sense podcast. If this episode, connected with you and you want to talk later, feel free to hit me up on my Instagram DMs, or message me here. Instagram, I'm at franklyfit_body blueprint. Leave a message here. Have your friends look at it if you think you have a friend where this would help them also. And hey, y'all know the motto: be grinding, or why do I never do that right? Be nothing. All right. Peace.